And good morning, everyone, and welcome to This Day. It is a Monday, and well, we're on our way to the first day of winter, which will be Friday, and I'll tell you about all that and the weather in just a moment. On our show today, we have John Pearlstone, and he is on the Third Mutual Board, a new member. We'll get to meet him. He's also a fairly new resident here in the village. We're also going to bring you a segment called Doctor in the Dugout that's presented by Hogue, a segment from Breastlink, and also one of our Thrive segments with Sonia Marsh. So those is our lineup for today. As far as meetings go, we have the GRF Security and Community Access. That's in the boardroom today at 9:30. Also at 9:30, Third has their Architectural Control and Standards meeting, and that's in the Sycamore Room. 1:30, GRF Media and Communications. That will be in the boardroom, and those are the meetings for today. Now, let's get to the weather, and we did get a little drizzle this morning. Remember I said Friday there might have been a little drizzle that might filter into Orange County. It did, not much at all. I mean, you could basically count the raindrops coming down. And even if you're watching us in the morning right now live, it's pretty well gone. So we're going to have partly cloudy skies today. At first it looked like it was going to be totally cloudy, but things parted ways pretty quickly. And I think we're going to have partly cloudy skies, and as we get to the latter half of the day and the afternoon, things will clear up just a little bit. And some morning clouds probably on Tuesday. Look at the temperatures go up now. On Thursday, you see 76 degrees, and areas of, there are going to be areas of Orange County that will actually reach above 80 degrees that day. And look at, here we are making our way into winter, which will be Friday, and it always seems to be the case that the first day of winter is a fairly mild or warm day, and it will be. So look at that, 69 degrees. And going forward on the weekend, by the way, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's all going to hover right around there. So some nice weather as we make our way into winter. Let's look around Orange County and beyond today. Fairly cool out there. Average going to be in the low 60s for most of Orange County today. The beaches, about anywhere from 59 to maybe 60, 61 degrees. And up there in Big Bear, 44 overnight, going down to 22. And even Palm Springs, only about 70 degrees. But some nice weather, as I said. Things will warm up a bit as we make our way to the first day of winter, which will be Friday. We'll be right back.
Through my window, I see the first sunlight, and I feel the warm ocean breeze. I see the waves that lulled me all night. That's what my window brings me.
Look at this.
That view is $1 million.
It's amazing we can look at these kinds of places within our budget.
You don't have a bad view from here anywhere you look.
It's all about the view. Sunday night is beach night. Sunday night at 8, only on HGTV.
Love that ring. Where'd you get it?
I got it at the jewelry box. I saw it on Facebook, and then I went in and bought it. They have the most unique, awesome pre-owned pieces for amazing prices.
The Jewelry Box of Lake Forest, voted best jewelry store in Orange County for 8 straight years, offering unmatched prices on fine jewelry and watches, refurbished to new condition.
Visit us in our store or shop our website for just arrived items.
The Jewelry Box. It's about trust.
When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says, yes, we can. Low payments? Yes, we can. Low financing for all types of credit? Yes, we can. Capistrano Toyota features 10 acres of new and certified pre-owned Toyotas, plus many used cars priced below $10,000. When other dealers say no, Capistrano Toyota says, yes, we can. Exit the 5 freeway at Camino Capistrano.
And I'd like to welcome from the third board, John Pearlstone. And John, great to meet you.
You
great
as well,
to have you
Ken.
here today. Welcome.
Thanks very much.
And first, it's your first time on our program, so a little background of yourself.
Well, I just moved to the village about 6 months ago, and I have a wife, and she's with me, of course, and 3 full-grown kids, all in the, well, one's in LA, 2 are still in the San Francisco Bay Area where we're from, live in Sausalito. And used to be a lot of things, I suppose, but a CPA, ran a small business, did some real estate development, which kind of led to getting interested in being involved with the board and you know, property management and things like that.
All right, very good. So we were talking because I'm from the Bay Areas too, and you have 2 kids still up that live up there. Then,
That's right. There's 2 up there and then 1 in LA, pretty close to us here with the grandkids, so it's kind of nice.
All right, very good. Well, great to have you on today.
Thanks.
And we're going to bring up some slides, and really this is sort of kind of a year in review, am I right, for third board?
Exactly. The idea was, you know, we've had a big productive year, lots of things that went right. Want to share some of the highlights for people who haven't been able to attend the board meetings or see the presentations. And it does set the table. A lot of this stuff is either mostly completed or, you know, there's going to be more going on next year, but there's a lot of new stuff going on next year as well that should present another great productive year for third.
All right, here we go. And we got the first slide that'll be coming up. And, you know, I like the way these show all the different things. And, of course, the solar panels on top of the roofs were a big thing.
The focus there was I tried to make it where I would focus on some things that maybe people who, you know, aren't following everything incredibly intensely don't see every day, but they're major projects that produced a lot of savings. In this case, solar panels that saved $250,000 is significant. I think anybody who's, you know, making sure we're wanting to know we're managing our costs know that's a nice productive accomplishment.
So. Yeah, and these really came up, I think they were installed in 2017, but where you're focusing on here is let's look at the savings. You can now have a full year of really seeing the production.
Exactly,
and how I should say how it produced the savings,
Right, some were completed, we're seeing the results, some we got installed, so kind of an overview of the good and the great. Honestly, there really wasn't anything that went too bad in all these projects.
Yeah, this is this one moved along, and I remember when everything was being put in for those. So
right.
And you know, the advantage here is there were all these 3-story buildings that had all these flat roofs, and so it made it a very relatively quick install. But more importantly, when they were first looking at this, it was like, we've got the physical real estate to put this on and make it productive.
Right. I think they do a great job, you know, at least the board historically, of trying to balance, you know, good projects, not too intrusive, and produce results that'll mean something for the long term. That's definitely the orientation of the board that I've gotten involved with, so I'm pretty excited about that.
And here are the cool roofs, and I can recall many years ago when they first started looking at these, and here's another great cost savings.
It is, and that's one I think that they've completed a nice chunk. There'll be some of that going on in 2019, and you know they've got it now where they've got the construction strategies all set up, and the communications have improved. So you know I've been briefed by the people who run the construction and maintenance that this thing has just gotten better and better, and now a lot of these are installed. They'll save money, they'll reduce maintenance. Seems like a great project that, you know, is in, you know, some in place, some still to go.
Yeah, that's another good cost savings. Now here what we're looking at, the ongoing really problem in this village, I don't care if it's United or Third or wherever, has been walkway lighting and lighting in general. And I know both mutuals have really looked at this very carefully and came up with some ideas.
Yeah, the reason I want to make sure we included this is just any operation that I've ever been a part of, you know, if it involves a team, a big community, safety first. And I just think it's great. A lot of things we spend time talking about in the board meetings, committees is how to improve safety, how to make things more easy and functional. And there's a real result of it is making sure we're seeing, people want to be able to visualize and see things clearly at night. And so they took a big step and looking for new ways to take that even further.
Yeah, and it's good that it's finally moving along because this has been a discussion that goes back long before I even
It's
worked
true.
there.
I hear those stories. There's been a great progression over the last few years where there's been some transitions in management, and I just, I want the community to know that the board is very focused on seeing these things implemented instead of just a lot of talk.
Yeah.
And these slides, I think, provide some real evidence.
Yeah, it does. And here's something else. Another one that's always gets talked about is the lack of parking spaces. But Third found some ways to re-look at the situation and
common sense.
500 new spaces.
Right. Yeah. Low cost, just reconfigure some things, give the community what they're looking for, which is easier access, more available parking for guests.
Yeah.
Just, again, a great solution that didn't take a lot of time, money, or effort, and now it's already in place. So that's a good one.
Yeah, and 500 new spaces, that's a lot.
It is. It is.
So that's great. Now moving on to the next slide here, and another kind of a project, and going along with the parking, it's finding more and more people are getting golf carts and eventually smaller electric cars and that type of thing, and finding little niche areas to create another space.
Bingo. I think the big focus on this one, as I was sorting through the many accomplishments, is to understand that even if it doesn't directly affect you, it makes your life better.
Yeah.
So if you've got the golf carts kind of tucked away in nice spots that aren't getting in the way of car parking, life's better for everybody. And so they found some new ways to do that, which is great.
Yeah, and that's always good because, again, the cost is tiny.
Yeah, exactly. Just good planning, good thinking.
Finding little extra spaces. Right. All right, in the next slide, another ongoing kind of a project, and I say ongoing is because, well, it's landscape, and of course, no matter what you do, you got to go back and relook at it. And this one is very important, right? This is something that has to be done.
Maybe should have gone first, just because the last 12 months, if you haven't been aware of or focused on disasters, potential for fire, these things that are going on all over California, and then other events are going on over the country, then you're not really in the news. So they're out in front of it. They're working on it. They made a big production with this first hillside clearing. It's kind of a starting point to make sure that we do as many things as possible to minimize fire risk. That comes in the area of actual landscaping, improving water control and communications, which got another slide on that. So just great steps that I think everyone in the community will feel good about and can sleep a little better knowing people are planning and looking for ways to take care of these things if they really, God forbid, they do happen.
Yeah.
And sadly, they do.
Yeah, and what's good here is, of course, working closely with the Orange County Fire Authority.
Exactly. So make sure you get it right and make sure that it's, when it's done, it actually will be effective. And it seems like it's going very well.
Yeah, and needed, of course. Right. All right, and another thing we're looking at, another project, and water conservation, and with the drought-tolerant plants, and also working with the Ultra Water District.
Yeah, it matters across the board in that there's a focus with Third, managing costs. Water costs are going quite high, trying to find ways to reduce those costs, making sure the residents are aware of these needs, doing whatever we can as residents to reduce water cost and usage. But there's things that the community can do, as Third as an organization, by drought-tolerant plants, restructuring certain things. It's going into 2019. If you show up at the board meetings or watch our information, there's a lot more coming on this, but it already started and it's had some success already.
Yeah, and it looks good, and that's the main thing. And to have, as you said, the focus is that way you have sort of a cohesive plan going out there.
Exactly, just a balance between making sure things still look great and we love our community, but I'll say it again, I think safety first is a big deal, and I know the board is very focused on finding ways to make things safer so that reduces fire risk and reduce cost. I mean, it's just a win across the board.
Yeah, and here we're going to look at a slide about sales. And what's really brought up here is pretty much the sales that are here in the village in general closely match what's outside the gates as well.
Exactly. It's been fairly close to the community, which means something because it shows there's a desire to be in the village, because a lot of the other community sales don't have assessment costs and monthly fees. But if you take a look, why I included this was it went up while the surrounding communities went down.
Yeah.
So things are going well. I mean, in other words, the improvements are paying off. People want to buy in here. The prices have gone up slightly over the last 12, 24 months. and sales have gone up. So that is a byproduct of good management and making sure things look good when people come evaluate if they want to, including myself. You want to come live here, you want it to be, you know, making sense and feel like a place you'd want to be a part of, and the numbers seem to support that.
Yeah, yeah. All right, the next slide here is going to be showing really kind of the kind of communications that both Third, really all the boards.
Well, it is. It's a village-wide effort for sure. But I threw it up there on the slide simply because you've been heard. If you've been concerned about communication as a resident, there's so many initiatives going on. The staff that is now running communications is professional experience. They've got great ideas. They're all starting to be implemented. So there's a lot of ways you'll learn information, and it's just growing and growing. So even in the 6 months I've been here, I've seen measurable improvement, and I know what's coming. So it's definitely, people can look forward to really getting in the loop of what's happening across the board in a lot of different ways here. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and all those things are available. Of course, they are working on the website, and a new one will be rolling out, a redesign, from what I understand, coming up in the
constantly focused on improving it. It's just the communications has been probably, you know, there's several highlights I mentioned, but that one has maybe the biggest quantum leap because they took so many steps that are going to pay off for years to come.
Right, and of course, Code Red. We've talked about this before. How important
this
is.
I pulled some of that when I saw that Rosemary talked about it in the last meeting. But it's a good reminder, and it is a great example of the communication improvements, the disaster preparedness. You know, you've got those forms. You should make sure that you fill them out and submit them because we want a nice database to reach everybody with anything that could matter to keep you safe or just keep you aware of big things going on, you know, within Laguna Woods Village. Yeah,
this is good. You know, it's something that you need to sign up for. And much the same way where I live, we have Alert OC. You can sign up for that too, which I encourage, because that's going to give you information that may be going on somewhere else in Orange County that could, you know, may or may not affect you.
Right.
But
there's just nothing negative about getting in the you know, the loop on that, and because it'll be used frequently. So make sure that you get those forms in.
Yeah, definitely. Here, you just want to talk about that tomorrow is the board meeting for Third.
I thought it was timely. You know, the conclusion of all the great accomplishments is we've got a lot more on the agendas. We want to see more things done. We'd love anybody interested to become part of the board community, show up for the meetings, get involved with the committees. We do take on advisors, so anybody who's got a skill or just an interest can talk to us about, you know, becoming part of, whether it's landscape or construction or whatever they're into. We can talk to them and just show up, you know, and speak your voice. Hopefully it's good things you've got to say. We love hearing good feedback, and whatever it is, that's part of the whole communication thing. Is every month we do get together and the board's available for you. Yeah, very good. And I think there's one more slide, or one or two. Yeah, just some. These are some highlights that you're going to be that wasn't really the focal point. Just some other smaller things that have been dealt with over the course of the year. I think the next one was the one I was hoping for.
Okay, let's look at the next one here.
If I got it on there, which was
it's the
that was the one.
There we go.
It was, honestly, there was so many, and I'll mention in conclusion that a lot of this stuff is summarized on YouTube, expanded greatly prior meetings. You know, I encourage you to go watch it, learn about what's going on in areas that you don't really see or hear about every day. And, you know, we really are trying to represent you as part of the community. Hope you have a great holiday season. So I want to make sure that was part of the slide presentation too.
All right. Thank you, John. A pleasure to meet you. We'll see you back here again.
Absolutely. I look
and
forward
remember,
to it.
tomorrow is the third regular monthly board meeting. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
I'm coming for you, Cancer. With California Protons, I now have the technology and expertise to fight with unmatched precision. I'll zero in and wear you down with radiation, millimeter by millimeter. You won't weaken me. I'll spare my tissues and protect myself against future threats. Cancer, you're history. I'm looking to the future.
The holidays are here. Let Diane's Hallmark help you with all your gift-giving needs with a wide selection of gifts as well as Hallmark Christmas cards and ornaments. Diane's Hallmark can help you get into the holiday spirit. We also carry fine women's clothing, jewelry, and accessories. And don't forget that we carry Bibles, Christian books, and gifts as well. Come in today and see it all. Diane's Hallmark is located in the Walmart Shopping Center next to Hobby Lobby.
Hello again, and welcome to another roadshow segment of Doctor in the Dugout. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Beyer, and I'm thrilled to be joined today by one of my new partners and associates at both Newport Orthopedic Institute and Hoag Orthopedic Institute, Dr. Taylor Dunphy. Taylor, thanks for being here with us today.
Thanks, Alan. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, Taylor's joined our group now as another one of our cadre of sports medicine specialists. He's fresh out of his sports medicine fellowship training with another good friend of mine, Dr. Jim Taboni up at USC. How was that year fellowship experience for you up there?
It was quite an amazing year. You basically learn from some of the experts in the field of sports medicine, and from that you get to go and actually practice on collegiate athletes and then athletes of all ages.
So I think a lot of people who are seeking out treatment for a sports injury don't necessarily realize that, you know, most of us who did sports medicine fellowships, including me back in the day, really learn a lot of the stuff that we're using to treat these people in on-the-field training. How important is the sideline aspect of your sports medicine training when you're taking care of these athletes?
I'd say it's paramount because you get to see the injury right in front of you. You get to evaluate them right away before swelling comes into play, and you get a good sense of what the ligaments are doing. As you wait longer and longer, then you get stiffer, for example. If you're on the field, you get a good Lockman, good exam to know what really is out.
I'll tell you, it's really amazing, too, these days how those of us who are sitting at home watching, at the pro level anyway, get to see these injuries occurring in 16 different angles, 5 different speeds. I mean, it really is kind of added a whole new ability to understand the forces that these athletes are being subjected to when they get hit in a certain way.
And it just is no longer pros, even high school students now. I had a high school student come in last week with a video from him lacrosse injury as he broke his clavicle. So it's influencing all areas of sports.
Sometimes it's not always for the better either, as we'll get into in a little bit if we talk a little bit about concussions and things like that. So I think the other thing that I really would like to get across to our listeners is how today's sports medicine doctor, who's fellowship trained, is really looking to take care of athletes at all levels, from peewees and football all the way up through major college and pros, and to the weekend warriors as we hit our 50s, 60s, 70s, and continue to abuse our bodies in various ways. I mean, how are you able to take what you learn at the very high college and pro level and apply it to the public at large when they're just playing their recreational sports?
Yeah, so the term sports medicine is often confusing to patients because these people you're seeing didn't actually injure themselves playing sports, but the injuries themselves are, quote unquote, can be caused by a sports injury. So if you come in with a 60-year-old who's not playing football, he can also tear his rotator cuff or hurt his clavicle in the same way a professional football player could. So the principles apply to all ages, and the management is just a little bit different between a pro and someone who's a weekend warrior.
And I think we're also seeing a higher and higher incidence of the repetitive use kind of injuries and phenomena. I mean, for instance, the young pitcher who is needing Tommy John surgery at the age of 16 or 17 or 18 as opposed to professional. These are repetitive use injuries, not just one-time traumatic injuries. We're seeing a real explosion in those in adolescence, aren't we?
Exactly. There's these kids now playing sports year-round. So the periods where they used to have summer break or times off are now spent training. So you have these overuse injuries that are common in young age, also in older adults, people who are doing activities above head. Lifting things can also cause rotator cuff issues in a degenerative type pattern.
So you said something there that I want to amplify a little bit for our viewers, and that's the year-round aspect of things. We happen to live in a climate where you're able to avail yourself of outdoor activities, 12 months a year. I grew up in a place back in East in New York where you couldn't avail yourself of out-of-door stuff for almost half the year. I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, especially with our youth. When a kid today is identified as being a pitching prospect, for instance, suddenly he's throwing January through December, whereas if he lived in New York or Connecticut or somewhere back east, he's not throwing, at least at the same level, out of doors 12 months a year. I mean, that's really turning out to be a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, and as a role as a sports specialist, I try to counsel some of the parents more than the patients, that there is a limit that these young athletes can handle. So if you're having shoulder issues, we usually slow them down, take a time off, and that'll actually make them feel much better. Rushing into surgery for a Tommy John is not necessarily needed for a lot of injuries. Just time and just decreasing the workload is very effective.
I also think, unfortunately, the increasing financial pressure, the increasing cost of going to a college, getting into a college that your parents want to get you into, are suddenly putting all kinds of stresses on these kids that, well, maybe you saw when you grew up. I certainly didn't see when I grew up. And I don't know that that's really a trend for the better.
Exactly. There's a long life ahead of these athletes, so you got to make sure that they're being safe. Concussions is one of those issues where the goal is to get back on the field as soon as possible, but in reality, we need to take our young patients first and look at their whole lifespan before we push them out in the field.
Let's talk about concussions for a minute or two before we move on to a couple other things. There's been so much stuff about it in the last couple of years at every level, from the NFL on down. We certainly treat the concussed athlete way differently than we did 20 or 30 years ago. I mean, it was almost a badge of courage 30 or 40 years ago to sustain a concussion in a football game and get back in there. We've gone 180 in the other direction now, haven't we?
Exactly, and it's kind of a spectrum. NFL, most aggressive; high school level athlete, the most conservative. So if you have any symptoms of a headache or loss of consciousness, obviously, we would sit you out definitely that game, and you have to do a checklist of different activities in order to be cleared to play in the next week. So often these athletes are out for several weeks before they're ready to go back.
And even at the pro level, we're seeing, neurotrauma specialists at every NFL game, a concussion protocol, which is a totally new term that we never heard before at the professional or collegiate level. If somebody gets significantly concussed, they've got to pass certain tests before, even at the professional level, they're allowed to go back in.
Yeah, and the data is limited right now, but it's concerning with some of the studies out there, so everyone's taking it very seriously, and especially in the younger age population, you got to be very conservative.
And I think this applies to soccer too, with heading and head-to-head contact. When two kids are going up for a headed ball, we're certainly being more conservative in the concussion approach in soccer as well.
Yeah, I was the team physician for USC women's soccer last year, and they had as many concussions as probably football players did. So it's not just a football injury.
At least they don't have a helmet on their head, so they don't feel their head's a weapon like the football players do. So let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you've learned. You're fresh out of your training. Tell us about some of the newer things that are happening in the treatment of sports injuries, specifically knee injuries, shoulder injuries. What's out there now that maybe wasn't available to us 5 or 10 years ago?
So previously in the past, big incisions were the way of the game, if you will, but now everything is done essentially minimally invasive with the size of about a centimeter incision, several around the knee or around the shoulder. And using a camera and some arthroscopic tools, we're able to accomplish big surgeries in small little spaces.
The major advantage to not having the big old incision like the old days is less soft tissue trauma, so the rehabilitation ostensibly should be faster.
In some cases it is, but also you're still repairing it the same way. So you have to protect it, but the pain, the stiffness, some of the things that are complications in the past have now been improved.
And I think we have to also keep in mind that we're doing these things for better outcomes, not for better cosmetic results. Because I think as much as we aim for a nice cosmetic result, those of us who do an orthopedic surgery, for the most part, cosmesis is not our #1 priority.
I agree with that.
Okay, so how about some of the new things in treatment of cartilage injuries? There's a lot of stuff that's happened now, some good, some bad. Let's talk a little bit about cartilage implantation, where we take a patient's own cartilage and culture it and reimplant it. What's the state of the art today?
It's pretty cutting edge. So if you have an isolated cartilage lesion, like basically it's a pothole in the pavement, we can take your own cartilage in one surgery, send it to a lab, regrow it, make a sheet of tissue of your own cells, and then reimplant it. And that's actually shown to have some of the best results in these isolated cartilage lesions.
But I think, like always, I think the key thing you said there is a pothole in the highway, not where the whole highway's surface has been absolutely disrupted. Because we see a lot of patients with significant arthritis who say, why can't you just grow new cartilage and put it back in for me? We're not there yet, are we?
Science is not there for global arthritis. The gold standard is still a total knee replacement if you have arthritis in all areas of the knee. But if you have a isolated single lesion or two lesions, some of this new technology is definitely the wave of the future.
So we hear a lot now about two other things that I want to talk to with our viewers a little bit about. PRP. What is PRP? When do you use PRP? What's the value of PRP?
So PRP stands for platelet-rich plasma. Essentially, it's your own blood spun down in a centrifuge to concentrate some of the growth factors. These growth factors have been shown to decrease some of the inflammation in tendons, and also they've been used in arthritis to decrease some of the inflammation of the lining of the knee.
So it decreases the inflammation, but doesn't grow new cartilage cells inside the knee. That's an important misconception, I think.
True. So the PRP is just setting a good environment for the knee. It's not giving the cells that are needed to grow new cartilage.
So let's go to the next step. Speaking of cells to grow new cartilage, stem cells are all the rage. You see, can't read a newspaper without seeing a full-page ad about stem cell injections. Tell us where we're at right now. Is the time really here yet, or are we still kind of on the early adopter curve and we don't really know yet on stem cells?
It's definitely on the early side, in my opinion. Some people swear by them, but the data in large studies is not there yet. So the essence of a stem cell is you find it in a body. It can be from fat, it can be from bone marrow, and you have these cells with the potential to grow into cartilage or grow into certain tissue, with the hope that this will help the arthritis that you have. But again, it's kind of the early stages of this.
So we don't really have any good data yet to show that stem cell injections can reverse an arthritic knee, grow new cartilage, and hopefully that patient avoids a knee replacement.
Yeah, the advertisements you see probably are a little bit too good to be true, but there is some data that's proving that in the future, hopefully we can have that technology work.
Well, Taylor, I think this has been very elucidating for our viewers. They can all reach out to us at orthopedichospital.com, the Hoag Orthopedic Institute website. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, taking care of the peewees, taking care of the pros, taking care of the seniors, to clue us in a little bit as to what's going on, and we'll see you back here again soon, I hope.
Thanks, Alan. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Have a great one. We'll be doing some more of these episodes as time goes on, so stay tuned, and thanks a lot for being with us today.
#1 choice for wood flooring and more is LA Carpet.
Now during their 2-day sale, visit their showroom now and get 65% off wood flooring, laminate, and waterproof flooring.
Plus, get 5-year, 0% financing.
Carpet, #1 for you.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have Dr. Lisa Curcio on from BreastLink. And this time around, we're talking about a subject that, well, is not often talked about. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you.
Great to see you again.
It's always a pleasure.
And today we're talking about male breast cancer. And although this is rare, it does occur, but it's very rarely talked about. And I'm sure most men don't even think about it, right?
Right, and I think this is a great time to really recognize the fact that men are affected by breast cancer too. Male breast cancer is only about 1% of breast cancer diagnosis that we see in the office. So for instance, for every 100 women, we see maybe 1 male with breast cancer. But it is an important diagnosis because commonly the patient has symptoms that don't get easily diagnosed or recognized as being breast cancer.
So what would be some of those symptoms? I mean, after all, men don't go in and get mammograms that I know of.
Correct. We're not usually screening men with mammograms. So it's really physical examination. And it's important for men to just appreciate if there is a change with their breast tissue. So a lump, a thickening, a skin change, a nipple change, or a discharge from the nipple can be early signs of breast cancer in a man.
Okay. Is breast cancer in men caused by the same thing that happens to women? Because I've heard a lot, you know, with women, there's obviously the different points in their life where their body changes more than men does, estrogen levels, all kinds of different things. So what causes it in men?
Well, it is a hormonal disease in men also, and it sometimes has to do with the imbalance of estrogen and testosterone. Surprisingly, men do make estrogen, but usually it's in a low level and testosterone is much more dominant. So one of the risk factors is men that are being treated hormonally for prostate cancer, their estrogen levels are allowed to rise, and that could predispose them to a breast cancer diagnosis.
Okay, what about breast cancer history in the family? And I'm not talking about, because again, they're probably not looking back in their history when it comes to men, but maybe their mom had it and their grandmother, or sister.
Particularly hereditary breast cancer. So when you see multiple relatives, we do know that women who have the BRCA mutation, particularly BRCA2, there's a higher risk of male breast cancers. So it is important for everyone to know what their family history is, and if there is multiple relatives with breast cancer in the family, someone should be tested to see if perhaps the men are at risk.
So that would be genetic testing that you would do? Okay.
Yes.
All right, if a man is diagnosed, is the treatment the same?
Yes, very much so.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
It's treated with removal of the tumor or the entire breast tissue, biopsying the lymph nodes, and then depending on the stage, chemotherapy and or a pill, which is called endocrine therapy.
Okay, what about age? We often hear with women, you start screening, I think, at 40 on a more regular basis.
Yes.
And so I'm assuming that it's more common for older, middle-aged women to get breast cancer versus young, although it does happen.
Correct.
What about with men?
Well, with men, it seems like the incidence of male breast cancer is a little bit later in the late 50s, early 60s.
Okay.
But I think it's a good habit, particularly if there's a family history, for men to be examining their breasts regularly since they are not being screened with things like mammogram.
Okay. This is, you know, kind of like the way years ago, I'm not saying now, but years ago when it came to colon cancer, a lot of women didn't get screened. They get screened a little bit more, I think, now, where years ago it was considered just a male disease, which of course was not true.
Right. Yes. Well, once again, the statistics are breast cancer is obviously much more common in women than in men, but I don't think we'll be starting screening on men anytime soon.
Yeah.
But I think there should be a heightened awareness by physicians, primary care doctors, that new breast symptoms should be evaluated and start off with something like an ultrasound. And we even do mammograms on men where we're concerned.
Oh, okay. What about lowering your risk just in general? For both, obviously, for women, you've talked about that many times. Same thing for men, just diet, healthy living, that sort of thing?
Absolutely. I think number one is recognizing if you're at increased risk, and if you have a strong family history, you could come in for a risk assessment, and we could even do some genetic testing. And if you have a BRCA mutation, we might want to do screening mammograms. And then lifestyle modifications, staying at a healthy BMI or body weight, exercising regularly, and eating a healthy, predominantly plant-based diet.
And of course, I know you've talked about this before, is if you still smoke, smoking seems to cause everything.
Correct.
It's a risk factor for just about everything, am I right?
Correct, and we are recognizing more and more that alcohol is a risk factor for breast cancer too.
Oh, okay, because there's another one of those things you hear, well, if you drink red wine or you do this or that, it goes back and forth, but you're looking at that as well?
Yeah, so there is a lot about the medicinal value, particularly for cardiac disease with red wine, but the data seems to hold pretty strongly that if you drink every day, 1 drink a day increases a woman's breast cancer risk by 10%, and if you have 3 drinks a day, it's up to 30% increased risk.
Wow, all right, very good. Well, if you'd like to find out more about this, or for some reason you would like to get in contact with BreastLink, maybe it's time, if you're a woman, to set up your mammogram appointment, or if you're a man, you have some concerns, give them a call and they can certainly go through the steps with you. Interesting topic, not something that's really talked about much, but I'm glad you did. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Doctor, always good to see you.
Thank
you. Take care. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm John Bowser Bauman. You probably know me best as Bowser from Sha Na Na, but I'm also president of Social Security Works PAC. And you know, when I'm in Laguna Woods, I always watch Village television. Grease for peace.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this segment where we spotlight someone who is thriving in the village. We're sitting in front of this marvelous African Serengeti vista because nature and travel are very important to our guest today, who is Miss Sonia Marsh. Hi Sonia, welcome to our segment.
Thank you so much, Cindy, for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Wonderful. You know, what we would like to know about you is your entire life experience with traveling and working in other cultures, but I think we need to get a synopsis of that because I want to bring us up to date with how you're thriving in Laguna Woods Village. So could you give us
Yes, I could talk for hours and hours, but I know we don't have much time. So let me explain that I'm thrilled to be in Laguna Woods. It is an absolutely fabulous place. I am so happy I moved here in March, but stepping back a little bit to explain how did I get here. When I was living in Lake Forest in 2015, I had been married for 28 years and I got a divorce. And I didn't know what to do with my life. So I decided to join the Peace Corps. And I applied, and the first time I was rejected, which really hurt my feelings. So I reapplied the next day, and I ended up getting asked to go to a country called Lesotho in southern Africa. It is a tiny country, the size, well, on the map it looks like a little soccer ball, and it is up in the mountains, 6,000 feet, and I was teaching orphans, and that was a start to my adventure in travel.
My goodness, so you were actually working in an orphanage?
Yeah, about 60% of the children were orphans and the rest were vulnerable children. And there were about 350 students or people living in the village. Yes. And I was, helping teaching English to these children. I blogged about it, and this is what helped and motivated me to talk about travel to other people, is that I got so many people involved in donations. They wanted to help in my village.
And did it open up other venues? Now I can travel somewhere else and I can perhaps do good works there, or I can just experience these cultures.
Right. So I lived in a very primitive hut with absolutely no electricity, no running water, no toilet, no shower. And believe me, that is a life-changing experience. Yes. So I went from that, and I would, as I say, I had a computer and I would blog, and a lot of people were following what I was doing. And they were so generous helping with the children and the orphans, sending things. So when I came back which was actually just last year in January, a lot of my friends were saying, you know what, how can we would love to help, we would love to travel, but we're scared. Africa is a scary place. And I tried to tell them, you know what, Africa is really not a scary place. It's the fear of the unknown, which applies to everything in life. If you're not sure about something, you're of course scared. So anyway, it led to me wanting to find a place to live, which was here in Laguna Woods. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to start my own travel club, because I want to motivate and inspire people to travel, not just to Africa, but around the world. But my main focus is Africa.
And you mentioned to me in another conversation that it was also in part because when you came back from these experiences, you found yourself changed. You said that you had more clarity. You felt more empowered. Is that part of your thriving?
So I totally agree. Whenever you go on a trip, especially if you go outside your comfort zone or into a new culture, you come back, you know, things that seem like a problem before, you come back and you think, well, really, that was not a problem. And it's almost like it clears up your mind and you can think about things in a different manner.
Yeah, certainly your priorities.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Yes. So some of the experiences that you had there, I know you have gone to on gorilla treks.
Yes.
Is that something? It looks like you're getting very up close and personal to these gorillas. So you get very close to the animals that you encounter, don't you?
So let me explain. So I didn't really have a job when I came back. And I decided that I really want to help and motivate people to travel, as I said, especially Africa, which people are scared to go, but it's on nearly everyone's bucket list, especially as they get older.
Yeah.
And so I decided to start some small travel groups together. And I have been fortunate to go back to Africa 4 times in the last year. And one of the times I went to Rwanda and I went gorilla trekking. And there I saw, I was standing maybe a little bit further than you, where you're sitting, but maybe about 10 feet away from the gorillas. And they're habituated, so you are not alone. You don't have to be scared. You go with guides who know these gorillas. And we climbed up, it's not steep, but we climbed up a little bit for an hour of trekking, and then you see the family of gorillas, and it was just an unbelievable experience.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And what are some of the other animals that you have encountered?
So I have been to Rwanda, and I've been to Kenya, Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Zambia, all that in the last year. And I also went to South Africa in May, and there is a place called Madikwe, which is the border of Botswana and South Africa, where there's no malaria. So we tell people you don't even have to worry about malaria.
That was a question I was wondering about.
There are certain areas where you just don't, there aren't any mosquitoes there. And I saw these young elephants. And I showed you the video of these 2 elephants which we're looking at, and those elephants were 2 young bull elephants, and we were just on a normal morning game drive. The Jeeps hold 6 people, so everybody has a clear view, and the guides are so important because they explain what's going on. So at first I thought, are these elephants fighting?
Right.
And it looks like they're fighting.
Well, it looks like it was staged for you.
Yeah.
Here, now we're going to park here and watch these elephants, but they were just spontaneously doing this.
They were spontaneous. It's like teenage boys.
Yeah, right.
They were
That's
just
what
wrestling with one another, and then if you watch the video, you'll see the bottom of the first elephant pushing his buddy in the face, and we started laughing.
How amazing, how amazing. Now, another question that I have about the accommodations, because, I have in my mind that I'm not going to experience something that's very comfortable if I go, and again, this is just me.
Right.
Tell me what it would be, what it would look like, what would it be like?
So, as I said, I lived in a primitive hut, and, a lot of us think that Africa is primitive, and you're going to rough it. To be honest with you, I have never in my life seen such unbelievably beautiful lodges. And when we say a tented camp, we're not talking about a tent like you would bring to Joshua Tree, which I did. Yeah. These are, some of them are 1,000 square foot tents with a luxurious bathtub, double sinks, a king-size bed, 5-course meals. So these are unbelievably gorgeous.
Unbelievable, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Wow, that was very unexpected. So one of the things that I have to ask you about, since this is our Thrive episode, what would I expect if I went on one of these excursions with you? Would I come back feeling what? Fill in the blank. How would I feel? How would it help me?
Well, I am actually leading a trip with 10 women, and I'm going to do other trips to Kenya, and we are going to visit an orphanage in Nairobi, and then we're going to take the children to see the wildlife. They've never seen elephants. These are orphans. And so we're going to go there, and then we'll go to the elephant orphanage where you can adopt an elephant. So I think Africa has this, you know, a lot of people say you go to Africa for the wildlife, but you come back and it's the people.
The humanity
The
of it.
humanity. And that is a big surprise for a lot of people. How generous, how kind, how loving, and really, they're always smiling.
But if I'm a writer, I'm going to probably be inspired to write about something. If I'm an artist, I'm going to want to paint or sculpt, or certainly a photographer. I mean, so there are people who are already doing some of these activities here saying that would be a great place to go to get this additional level of inspiration.
I totally agree with you. And as a writer myself, and knowing there are several writers groups in Laguna Woods, I'm going to put together a writers retreat as well for writers to go, and a yoga retreat, because the nature there, think about it, you're out, it is so quiet, there's no one else around you except the animals. And, you know, you don't have to worry about it because we are protected. It's not like we're, you know, in danger. Why would they want to put us in danger?
No.
If we were in danger, nobody would want to go.
No, of course not.
So I am starting a travel club, which here called Travel with a Purpose. And the first meeting is next week. And my goal is to inspire people to actually come. Well, we're going to have speakers, presenters.
Let's just say that you have the club meeting from time to time, because our air date might miss that next week's session. So you have them on a regular basis, so people can come, and you'll be sharing some footage of the trip that you've recently taken, and then you'll be talking about the trip that's coming up, so people can see and make plans. Well, I cannot thank you enough for coming in, and I'm inspired to go. I'm really seriously interested in coming along with you, because it wasn't even anything that was on my radar screen, you know, and you bumped this way up my bucket list. So thanks for doing that, because I think it will be a very enriching experience, and something that will probably change my life a little bit, and that's a good thing. So Sonia, your contact information, we're going to put it up on the screen. It's Sonia@soniamarsh.com. Is that what it is?
That's my email.
That's your email.
It's Sonia with an I, not a J or a Y.
Oh, okay, that's good. Well, we'll put it up on the screen so people can find you.
Yes.
And that's going to be absolutely amazing. We want to hear all about it.
Thank you very much. I just want to say that I am inspired living here in Laguna Woods, because there's so much going on. And I think you do, you know, if you can't find something to do, it's pretty sad, because this could be a full-time job, just living in Laguna Woods.
Yes.
With all the activities.
With all of our resources.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
And it's always changing, too. It's not the same things. There are always new things that are being, like your club. So there's lots of new things that provide new opportunities for us. Thank you, Sonia. I just am so pleased to know you and to be a part of your wonderful sphere of travel and these wonderful cultural experiences. And I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Cindy.
And we thank you so much for tuning in today. If you have a Thrive experience that you would like to share with us, or if you want to nominate someone who is having a Thrive experience, please contact us using the information that we're showing on the screen right now. And please be sure to watch the Thrive Show on Thursday mornings on Village Television at 9:30. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Brian Rott, President and CEO of Cartmart here in Laguna Woods. My family's been in the golf cart business since 1959, and we win our customers over with the simple belief of we treat you right. We are proud to be the authorized dealer for Club Cart here in Orange County and your go-to source for the sales and service to other major brands. We're conveniently located on El Toro Road, just minutes from Laguna Woods. So come by and see for yourself, while when doing business with Cartmart, there's no reason to go anywhere else.
And our movie coming up today is Mission Impossible. This is I think it's the third or fourth one. I think it's the fourth one, Mission Impossible Fallout. Of course, it stars Tom Cruise as Ethan Hunt. And in this one, the Mission Impossible force They're out to, along with some familiar allies, race against time after a mission has gone wrong. Ethan and the team take on their most impossible mission yet, eradicating the Syndicate, an international rogue organization highly skilled as they are trying to commit to destroy the IMF team. This will be today at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock, and always they're good fun movies. I like these a lot, and Tom Cruise is great in these. Ving Rhames is in this, and Henry Cavill, he plays one of the bad guys in this. So that will be today at 2 o'clock and at 6 o'clock. And then Friday is same kind of different as me, and this is a story that it's kind of an inspirational story about an art dealer who must befriend a dangerous homeless man in order to save his struggling marriage. And the woman whose dreams will lead all three of them on the journey of their lives is his wife. To the valleys, to the mountains, to the winds and the inner scopes of their minds, this is as I said, it's interesting because this is both a biography, a drama, and inspirational movie. So it's loosely based on a true story in a sense. There's a lot of the dreaming part of it and all is added in, but of course the cast is Greg Kinnear and Jimon Hansu, who plays the homeless gentleman, and believe it or not, that was Renee Zellweger in this as well. So that will be Friday at 2 o'clock and at 7 o'clock. So there you go. Now, I want to remind you that tonight is Monday Night Football, and if you'd like to join some friends and folks, you can head on over and do that at Clubhouse 5 Main Lounge, and the bar will open up there at 5 o'clock. And today we have the New Orleans Saints versus Carolina Panthers. They'll also have a no-host bar, and they will be giving away some chips and salsa. They'll have some foods for sale as well if you'd like to enjoy that over there. Bring some friends and have a good time. Watch the football game together. All right, let's get to the weather. And as I said, if you were a little bit earlier today, there was, in fact, a little bit of drizzle that was in and around Southern California, really not much of anything. We're going to have, partly to mostly to sunny skies today, meaning just in the last hour, things have really kind of ebbed and flowed with the clouds. I looked out there once and it was all nice and sunny. Now the clouds are coming back just a bit, but overall, pretty nice day out, about 64. We're going to start to warm up as we make our way to the first day of winter, which is Friday. Look at Thursday, about 76 degrees. In fact, in that day, there could be areas around Southern California that are above 80 degrees. We'll get a little offshore winds on that day. And then Friday will back it down somewhat, but still fairly nice as we make our way throughout this week. Around Orange County today, the average temperatures are going to be 63, 64 or so. Beaches about 59 to 60. And if you're headed out to Palm Springs, 70. Big Bear, 44 degrees. So all in all, some nice weather. Join us tomorrow. We're going to have on Diane Menzota, and she is with Dream Vacations, so she can help you out if you want to plan a cruise. And we're also going to get the Bridge Club here, Tea Party Sentinels, and the Nazareth Bible Church. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.